Here's the funny thing about comparing yourself to other people. You don't really ever know what people got going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have a tendency to show the highlights of their lives, and they have a tendency to tell you about the highlights. You know, social media obviously is a very big thing, and when you look at somebody's social media feed, typically you're seeing the highlights of their life. You don't really ever see the struggles or any of the negative parts of what's happening to them in their day to day. You know what I mean? We're typically just seeing the good parts. And the funny thing about that is, a lot of times people aren't doing as well as they would like you to think. You know, whether that be in a financial situation, whether that means in a mental headspace. You know, sometimes people give off the idea that they're just the happiest, luckiest person in the world, and that's a lot of time not the case. You have to realize that a lot of times people put on, you know, the pretense and facade is a big part of being a human, fortunately or unfortunately, however you do see that. To me, I think it's kind of an unfortunate thing because it causes us not to be able to ever really. That's why people have so many issues with being vulnerable or being, or just being able to be authentic or genuine, because they always feel like they're going to be judged or whatever about who they actually are. So they can't ever be who they actually are. They have to be this character or this pretend person in order to be accepted or liked. And that's also, I guess, just human nature as well. Everyone wants acceptance. Everyone wants to feel like they're a part of something, right? So I don't fault people for that, and I don't exclude myself by any means. So let me get that out of the way. I am part of people as well. But you have to realize, the more that you compare yourself to someone's highlights, the more you compare yourself to someone's good parts, you're only going to see the bad parts in yourself and in your life. Your best bet is this is a difficult thing to do. It's not easy to not compare yourself to other people or to other people's situations. But I've found over the years, man, like at a certain point, if you spend enough time getting to know yourself, and you can do that many different ways, but if you spend enough time doing that, you get to a place where you don't care as much, man. You don't really care that much about what somebody else has going on, because you're so focused on trying to get your own life together. You know what I'm saying? And that becomes the most important thing. And you have to understand too, your race is your race to run. It's nobody else's. Your time is your time. And when it happens for you, or when you get where you think you need to be in your life, is exactly when it's supposed to happen. Because if it wasn't, it would have happened before or later. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, you can't be so focused on on what other people are doing. That's probably the biggest thing. And we are consuming so much input all the time through social media and being so intimately connected to other people's lives, almost in a strange way, through social media. You know what I mean? Like with Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever, it's almost like you can get an update on what a person's thinking moment to moment, you know, or everything a person's done in a day sometimes, you know, depending on who you're following or watching on social media. Because some people use it as like a diary almost, where they're just giving you every little thought that they think is on, you know, social media, as far as like, you know, I just went to the bathroom, or I just had dinner, or I just whatever, you know what I mean? And so it's like we've become almost intimately connected with other people and their lives. And if you're not careful, it'll just turn into a burden for you, because you become overwhelmed by it. And it's just a lot. So, you know, if social media is the reason why you find yourself comparing yourself to others, maybe you need to take a little hiatus from social media and maybe detox, or kind of just take a step back, because I don't feel like in life, man, or like in prior times in life, people compared themselves as much to others. I mean, maybe they did, you know what I mean? I mean, naturally they probably did, but it's just different. Like we're so more connected, and we know so much more about each other. This is a good example. Like you know somebody before you even meet them a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Like just because of like Facebook, or it's like you might hear about a person and you go look them up and you see their profile, you see what they're about, you know everything about this person. Not everything, but you get my point. And then you meet them and you're like, oh, I already knew this, I already knew what kind of music you liked, or, it's weird almost. So, I'm sure there's always been some level of comparing person to person, but social media is definitely just created this I don't know, like it's just a bigger sort of, I don't know what you would call it, but it's just far more prevalent now. So I say all of that to say, in the age that we live in, it's probably more difficult than ever to not compare yourself to other people, but do what you have to do to find your ways to quiet your mind, or because like I said before, a lot of times, man, even in life in itself, I found that like people I've known who I thought were objectively doing better than me in life, come to find out, and I'm thinking like I gotta be like this person and that, and I gotta do what they're doing, and I'm behind and this and that, and it come to find out, that wasn't even the case. They weren't that far ahead of me, and not only were they not that much further ahead of me, they had different habits and things that were holding them back that I had no idea about, and time will tell all tales. As time goes on, you see that where you are in life and where they are in life, as far as even just your thought process, you may be way far more advanced than they are. So, and at the end of the day, like, it's not about comparing yourself to others. That's the whole point of this. But you have to just be careful and mindful of doing that, because you don't know what's going on in people's lives. You don't know what people are thinking. You don't know nothing. All you know is what you got going on, and that's where your focus should lie. Your focus should just lie on you doing what you need to do for you, your people, your situation, and do it at your very best. Can't do much more than that, you know what I mean? Like, you can't do much more than that. So, anyway, I appreciate y'all watching once again, man. Peace.